Well, let's go ahead and get started. Svetlana, do you want to do the mandala in Russian for me?
Yes, thank you. Вот великая земля, великая земля благов. Вот великая земля благовония, покрытая одеялом из цветов. И вот великая земля, покрытая одеялом из цветов. Великая гора, 4 континента, носящие драгоценность Луны и Солнца. В своем уме я делаю это раем Будды и предлагаю это все тебе. Этим поступком пусть каждое живое существо ощутит чистый мир. И дам Гуру Ратна Мандала Камнирьята Ями.
Oh. I go for refuge to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, to the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration, wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, I will attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. Okay, let's see. Let's start rejoicing with Daria.
Good morning, Verbal One Sumati.
I'm not hearing you.
I rejoice. I every day told about my boss, and sometime I didn't like her, but I appreciate her. And tomorrow, she said she find a better job than now, and she moving up, and I did a lot of practice for her. I did Tonglen, and I say, "What you find better job? It's fantastic. I'm happy."
Wow.
But her.
Well, good for you. You say you got a different boss and you got her a better job. That's what it's all about. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm proud of you. That's really the ideal putting into practice what we've been teaching. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Lydia, how about you? What do you have to rejoice about?
I'm rejoicing about opportunity to serve you, to help you, because Victoria Makarova asked me to help her with translation of classes from the retreat. And yes, I'm not, my English is not so very good, but I understand that I will try and I will do it with my best motivation. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. be patient with me. Move fast, but I'm glad. Thank you for doing that. I'm very impressed with people that know multiple languages since I don't. So good. Hang in there. Okay, who's next? Katerina, what do you have to rejoice in? Your microphone.
Hello, dear one, Sumati. Hello, all. Света, can you help me, please, to translate? Я радуюсь тому, что
I am rejoicing
я
that I
достаточно
have
много
sufficient
прогресса в практике терпения, потому что
enough progress in
моя
patience
дочь
when my
очень
daughter is
сильно
very
переживает, знаешь, очень
anxious about
сильных
school,
слез.
even
Мне
crying.
получается оставаться
I
спокойной
manage
и
to be calm
помочь ей успокоиться. Я
and
пыталась
help
перевести
her
свой
to
мастер
become
Шантидева,
calm.
но ей пока
I was
сложно
trying
понять.
to
Но
bring
я радуюсь, что у нее
thoughts about Master Shantideva, but
получается
it's challenging for her to understand. I'm rejoicing that I can keep calmness and I can do the best that I can to help her. So and such situations are becoming more random and random. When she was younger, it was more often, and now it's not so often. And I'm also rejoicing with it.
Very good. How old is your daughter?
she's 9, almost 10.
Almost 6. Wow. Well, good. You're setting the seeds for your having the help you need in the future, and you're teaching her a little Dharma, even just a little bit at the age of 5. That's excellent. Think what it would be like if you had started your Dharma practice when you were 5 years old. Think how wonderful that would have been. So very good. Okay, let's see. Anna, what do you have to rejoice in?
Hello, dear Venerable Sumati. Hello, everyone. Thank you for opportunity to rejoice. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. About my rejoicing, I hope I will get one new role. It's not new role, it's old role in general, but a new for me in one project which I am very interested. It's Geshe project. It's not ACI, so it will be something very new for me and some new activities. I will need to find out some new skills and study some new options. But I really excited that I will join it. I hope I will join it. All will be good. And what else? I also want to say you a huge thank you for your rejoicing practice because today I mentioned them when I look at my schedule and I see, oh, today will be a class with dear Venerable Sumati, and I start to thinking, oh, I need to think about rejoicing. I need to think what I will tell to my teacher. And really, it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like a push, like to think about something good in my life. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for this practice and for this opportunity. It
You're
helps me to be in good mood and more think about good things than about problems or difficulties. Thank you.
good. Well, that's very nice to hear, and that's one of the secret ploys. I want people to get happy and rejoice. And rejoicing can be in something negative too. If something is making you, well, like with Daria, if something's making her angry, she rejoiced in doing the practices to help get her boss a new job. So It all works out. It all works out. Okay, who's next? Svetlana.
Hello, the Venerable Sumati. Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to rejoice that I decided to have proactive approach, and I was downloading some files, and then suggested to share these files, and then I sent those files, and the feedback was super with many exclamation marks in a positive way. So I'm rejoicing that such proactive approach to serve others and to make life of other people easier was met with positive attitude, and it's coming from my seeds that I was complimented others before, and I rejoice about it and dedicate that everyone can be successful in their service to other beings.
Very good. Boy, this is amazing rejoicing. This is the whole point of rejoicing. So very good. Okay, who's left? Katya.
Hi, hello, everybody. I want to rejoice that we are here all together, all women, just women, and I'm very happy about that. And I want to rejoice that I be back in my bike. I was not riding, but this weekend I decided to start again, and because I was having a lot of like scare and lazy. And now I have new seats, and now I'm back in the bike.
Well, how far do you go on your bike?
In the weekend I went to just like around the city, and I went to a a town that is close to here, like 50 kilometers from here. But it was really cool, and I enjoy it a lot.
Is the route around the city a dedicated bike route, or are you on streets with cars?
In the streets with car, but just not too much, just
Well,
just
be careful.
sometimes.
Be careful.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Ina, do you have something to rejoice in?
Да, всем привет, здравствуйте. Чему
Yes,
радуюсь?
hello
Знаете,
everyone.
на следующей недельке я
What I'm
буду
rejoicing, these flowers are staying for 6 weeks, and they are not tilted off. I'm just changing water for 6 weeks. I am rejoicing that I listened to Katya and put a to-do list that I went and take a schedule for swimming pool and for yoga. Will support you in bicycle, will cycle underwater. I am rejoicing that my dog returned. I didn't see her for 6 weeks. She was with a coach training over there, and for 6 weeks it was such a miss. And I'm opening refrigerator, and there are only dog food. I was waiting her to meet. I'm rejoicing that I have friendship with my friend. She is living in Italy, San Antonio, and she was like in ACI, DCI, she's translator and also teaching. And I'm knocking her and talking with her even 10 minutes before our class. We had a call together. I was crying to her shoulder as a girl, and she supported me. You are going to Venerable Sumati, you'll find all the answers, everything is okay. So today I have big ears to listen to and search the answers. And also I'm rejoicing that like by a third hands I managed to connect with Vimal and her husband on 29th October to meet for sound meditation in Arizona. I will go there after retreat, and for a month I'm studying cryptocurrency and everything where to enter and what to sell and increase my financial capacity. But what is the most important? I want to teach my close ones to be financial freedom, and now it's such a trend, and I'm rejoicing about all of it. Yeah, such events.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'm proud of all of you. You've got positive things. You're putting your practice into work. Did I leave anybody out? I don't see Mike. Okay. So me, what am I going to rejoice in? Well, I'm still trying to find a project to take my time up now with my book projects finished. I don't know if I told everybody one of my books sold out. The publisher's going to go into another printing. So my book is popular enough that they're going to have to do another printing. So that's pretty neat. What else? Well, I can't really think. I had some problems with my computer, but didn't get mad at the computer. I just said, okay, I need to fix it. And I did. And I think I fixed it correctly. So what happened was I usually don't empty my recycle bin on my computer because that's sometimes where I store files. And my computer automatically, for some reason, automatically emptied it at the end of the month of September. So instead of panicking, and the material's gone. So instead of getting mad, I just said, well, I need to make sure this doesn't happen again. And so I think I have done so. So what else? Oh, I had several little projects that I did myself without anybody helping me. And that always makes me happy because I don't want to be depending on people for everything. But that's a good practice in itself. And that's the kind of, we're going to be discussing that at the Phoenix teachings, empathy and compassion. So that's going to be very interesting. Okay, we're on class 9 of course 10. You can see on the screen here, we're still talking about the ethical way of life. And class 10 is a description of the medium and greater scopes. Now, we could talk for hours on medium and lesser, medium, and greater scopes, but I've distilled it down to what I think is the most important, and I hope it's in an order that will make sense. I kind of fought with what the order. So here we go. Come on. Well, what's going on here? There we go. Okay. So you progress to the medium scope, which is also called the medium capacity, when you are focused on not having a lower rebirth, the lower rebirth being as an animal, a craving spirit, or the hell realm. But you're focused on not being reborn in samsara at all. In medium scope people are called either listeners, they're also known as hearers, or solitary realizers, also known as self-made Buddhas. Listeners, this term refers to the fact that they can listen to Mahayana teachings and report or teach them to other people, but they don't embrace the idea of bodhicitta in the way that we do. I should have said regular bodhicitta. They aren't interested in getting enlightened for the benefit of all living beings. They're interested in getting their enlightenment, which is not a true enlightenment, for themselves. And we'll be discussing that in just a minute. Solitary realizers are self-made Buddhas. A self-made Buddha is someone who has achieved a lower nirvana without a teacher in this life. They also do not embrace the concept of bodhicitta as we know it. They have had the direct perception of emptiness, but without bodhicitta in their hearts. Both are referred to as foe destroyers, as they have permanently destroyed the foe of mental afflictions and have reached the lower nirvana. So one thing that's perplexed me for many years is trying to keep track of the vehicles, the scopes, and the capacity. So this table, and you'll get a copy of these notes, of these slides. So don't worry about taking all this information down. So we have scope, vehicle, practitioner, and goal. So the lesser capacity of the Hinayana or lower vehicle. I have wondered for years whether we have a name for them, and I can't find a name. Their goal is to avoid lower realm rebirth. And their method for doing that is strictly adhering to the virtuous deeds, staying away from the 10 non-virtuous deeds. If they do that well, that will prevent them from going into a lower realm rebirth. And they're happy with that. Then we have the medium capacity. They're also Hinayana vehicle. And they're the listeners or solitary realizers. And their goal is nirvana, which they refer to as enlightenment. So it's very important that we remember the term enlightenment comes in two flavors. There's enlightenment and there's total enlightenment. So enlightenment in this case means their goal, the best they can do is nirvana, the end of mental afflictions. That's not bad, but that's not total enlightenment, which we'll get to in a minute. Self-made Buddhas are medium capacity, Hinayana, lesser vehicle, and they too have nirvana as their enlightenment. Greater capacity, Mahayana, which is what we are. We're the greater vehicle, Mahayana. Practitioners are bodhisattvas. In this case, we're looking for total enlightenment. So bodhisattva, Mahayana bodhisattva, wishes to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all living beings. A bodhisattva, well, I don't think you can call him a bodhisattva. Medium capacity listeners and solitary realizers and self-made Buddhas can have bodhicitta, but a bodhisattva is a warrior, has a warrior mentality of reaching enlightenment for all living beings. So I don't think you could call a listener, solitary realizer, or a self-made Buddha, a Bodhisattva? That's an interesting question. I'm pretty sure I'm right. So, in order to go from lesser to medium, like I said earlier, you have to want to not only not be reborn in the hell realms, you don't want to be reborn in samsara at all. And same with the self-made Buddha. And then there's the Vajrayana or Tantrayana, that Bodhisattva, and also total enlightenment. Well, that's interesting. I don't know what's going on. There are 5 paths. There's the path of accumulation. So ignore the top 3 list. There's the path of accumulation. So what are these paths? These are the roadmap for, it's like the Lam Rim. These are the roadmap for becoming totally enlightened. And the various capacities have various parts of the 5 paths that they complete. The path of accumulation, what are we accumulating in the path of accumulation? Does anybody remember? What are we accumulating?
Renunciation.
Excuse me?
Renunciation.
Renunciation, exactly. We're not accumulating virtue, we're accumulating renunciation. And we're accumulating enough disgust with our existence to really do something about it, our existence in samsara, to really do something about it. The greater way practitioner has bodhicitta in their heart. They want to get out of samsara, not be reborn in samsara, so they can truly benefit all living beings. The lesser capacity don't have disgust with samsara. They just don't, they have disgust with being born in the lower realms. In the medium, they're accumulating renunciation so they can not be reborn at all in the samsara, but in nirvana. Oh, well, so much for my editing. Okay, path of preparation is next. We're preparing here to see emptiness directly. We're studying, meditating on emptiness and karma and dependent origination, hours and hours and hours of studying and meditation. Geshe says you need to be meditating for at least an hour a day in order to get the karma and goodness to be able to see emptiness directly. But you still have to study. There's no simple solution to seeing emptiness directly. It takes a concerted effort. So that's what the 18 courses, the ACI's 18 courses are for. One of the best ways to get virtue from those courses is to become a teacher. The whole point of the ACI courses was to generate teachers. So Geshe is especially happy when he sees new teachers in the ACI classes. Okay. There's a point in this path where we've been changed so deeply by your study and meditation that you completely close the door to a lower rebirth. So this is encouraging for me that I've studied now, I think, relatively deeply the courses, emptiness. My meditation's not very good because of my tremor, but I'm working on hopefully being able to completely close the door to a lower rebirth. but I won't find that out until I die. Then we'll know. Path of seeing. This is a pivotal life experience of perceiving emptiness directly, a major milepost on the path to enlightenment, whether it be nirvana and the enlightenment of solitary realizers and self-made Buddhas, or total enlightenment of an omniscient Buddha. The path of habituation. You've removed your mental afflictions. When you do it, you reach nirvana, end of the road for medium scope, but not for greater scope. Here you get used to what you saw when with emptiness directly. You see things as self-existent, but you don't think they're self-existent. And that's a major step. Path of no more learning. You've reached, at the end of the path of habituation, you've reached it's the 10th Bodhisattva Bhumi, and you've become totally enlightened. Other considerations. Bodhicitta, true bodhicitta, transforms practice that would take you to nirvana into practice that result in total enlightenment. One could compare this to alchemy, the ancient art of mixing things together to transform them into something more valuable. For instance, transforming lead to gold, or in the case of Master Nagarjuna, mixing iron and mercury and creating gold. Geshe relates that the literature says he was so good at it that he got in trouble for it. Now, I have not heard of anybody being able to do this, mixing iron and mercury and creating gold. So it'd be interesting to know what they're talking about when Nagarjuna apparently got it done, did it successfully. But the point of this is, if you have Mahayana bodhicitta, it transforms practices that would take you to nirvana into practices that would result in total enlightenment. It makes your vow practice much more powerful. Ordinary virtues are like a common metal, iron or lead, and lead only to more samsara. Virtues performed with the wish to achieve total enlightenment is like an alchemy elixir and transformed into a cause for perfect enlightenment in your Buddha paradise. Well, I apologize. This is really messed up. If I want happiness for myself, I'm wanting goodness for only one person, so the karma is limited. If I want happiness for all people in the universe, the karma is incredibly stronger. So, have this intention when you do a deed. So when you do a deed and you're rejoicing about it, have this idea that you're wanting to do a goodness for the benefit of all living beings, not just yourself. So, for instance, Geshe says, if you're feeding birds outside in a park, be thinking, someday I'll be giving you just what you need to really free yourself from suffering. My wife likes to say, someday you'll be my student, and I'll be feeding you the Dharma to make you successful in your path to total enlightenment. So that takes doing something mundane. I mean, feeding birds is fun, but if you can feed them with the thought that you're doing it so they'll become enlightened in some future lifetime and become your students in a future lifetime, that's pretty powerful. Another example, driving cars. I will drive safely so that I can become the one who brings everyone to ultimate safety of total enlightenment. Doing the dishes. I'm doing the dishes so that I can clean away all beings' impurities. This sounds, could to many people sound pretty silly, but it's movement of the mind and what it ends up in your body, speech, and mind. So the important thing with rejoicing, and to me, is it takes something mundane and turns it into something very, very powerful, as well as locking it by dedicating it. You're locking it away from it being destroyed by getting mad at a bodhisattva or something similar. So never, first of all, always dedicate. And when you rejoice and you dedicate, think of the bigger picture. How are you going to help all beings instead of just yourself? Now, for some people, that would be overwhelming, and they can't think in that big a picture. So instead, think about how you could help your brothers or sisters, your mom or your dad, your grandmother or grandfather, aunts and uncles, people you're close to, your friends. And then once you're comfortable there, move it to the next level. Everybody in town, even though you don't know them. I try to think positive thoughts about my current president, which is very hard. But I try and think of ways that I can help him understand. And I do this, we do this, my wife and I do this at the dinner table. We'll try and think of something he's done that day that we can somehow turn and plant in his mind that's going to create a future for him that he doesn't want. But I doubt he believes in karma and emptiness. But that doesn't discourage us. Our job is to plant the seeds in our mind to see him change his mind by realizing that we were very complacent in past lives. Our government was, our democracy, type of democracy was going to work perfectly. The House of Representatives and the Senate was going to be responsible instead of playing high schools with each other. To see grown men in our country coming up with derogatory nicknames for their opponents in this country or in foreign lands is mind-boggling to me. That's high school, that's junior high, that's elementary school. Why are politicians doing that? Well, because I have the karma to have set the seeds in a past life to ridicule other people instead of try and understand what they want and help them get it if possible. So I look, in terms of politics, I look for a candidate that's talking about what he or she is going to do, not what their opponent has done wrong. You can have all the opinions you want, but once you get into the legislature, you've got to produce. And if you're going to produce, you have to get off the habit of blaming others. Instead, take that energy and create something positive yourself. Okay, boy, we're going through this really quickly. Huh. The four Arya truths. Now, after you come out of the direct perception of emptiness, you have the four Arya truths. These are called the Four Noble Truths in the mainstream Buddhist literature. Geshe thinks that's a misnomer because that translates as the Four Noble Truths, and that implies only that to him, only the nobility had these truths, which is incorrect. So there's the truth of suffering, the truth of the source of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path to the end of suffering. Truth of suffering has two components, two aspects. The impure vessel of this world, so the world is samsara, the contents of the world, the vessel, living beings. So living beings live in this world of samsara where everything is suffering. And you think, well, not really. I win a marathon race. I'm taking biking up again. I'm teaching. I'm taking care of my kids. So I'm having fun doing that. So where's the suffering? Well, good things come to an end. The suffering of change, good things coming to an end. It's important because we want to renounce samsara, our belief, our desire to be in samsara. It's hard. It's easy to slip into everything in the world is negative, and it is because of the suffering of change. But there's a lot that's positive. Now it does change into the neutral and negative, but I want out of samsara. But I'm trying to. My goal is to make everything be enjoyable instead of in samsara, which isn't going to make me want to stay. But it's going to make trying to get out of samsara easier. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me rephrase that. We have the suffering of suffering, outright pain, the suffering of change, good things then, as my wife likes to put it, it's ice cream, then it's gone. And then this pervasive suffering. And pervasive suffering is usually taught as the fact that you're dying the minute you're born. But I like to teach it as the second part of pervasive suffering is you don't know what karma is going to ripen next. So in that sense, samsara is suffering because it's a total surprise, each karma that ripens. You may have been, I like to think I've been a pretty nice person this life, but I'm still having lousy things happen to me, such as Parkinson's, and ability to do lots of things I love to do. But I don't take that in the depressing negative sense. True, it's not pleasant. That's the unpleasant part of samsara. But the pleasant part I'm talking about is the Dharma. I know why and how I got Parkinson's. So it's my fault from my past lives. And if I behave myself properly and react properly in this life, I should be able to burn off all of the purifying seeds that I need to burn off so I don't have it in a future life. So another positive thing to think about in samsara, and this is a little maybe hard to realize, but I look at Parkinson's, one of the aspects of Parkinson's I like to think about is its purification. I get a chance, because I understand karma and emptiness, I have the opportunity to take my Parkinson's and purify it and get rid of it. Instead of wallowing in the fact that I have Parkinson's, I can say to myself, okay, because of karma and emptiness, I know that Parkinson's came from my being inconveniencing people in the past. So if I don't want that in the future, in the present, I have to not inconvenience people. So to me, it's taking a negative Parkinson's and making it into a positive. Now, it doesn't mean I want to stay in samsara and continue working on ripening seeds to make some Parkinson's go away. So there's a fine balance there. I would challenge each of you. I do this and we never follow up on it, but maybe we'll next on Thursday. I would challenge you to think of something similar to what Parkinson's is to me in your life and see if you can come up with whether you've responded and continue to respond in the proper way, in a way with wisdom. So what pervasive thing in your life now is a constant reminder of something negative you did in a past life, and how you need to take the reminder and turn it into purification instead of looking at it and going, oh, I was a terrible person the last life or 10 lives ago. Yes, you were a terrible person 10 lives ago. And that's ripening now. But now you're not a terrible person and you're burning off that karma and you're setting the seeds to have a wonderful future life. And that's something to be happy about. So the fact that you're in samsara to me, has a component of happiness. Truth of the source of suffering. Karma is the source of suffering. The things we get mentally afflicted about is an outgrowth of karma. Truth of the cessation of suffering. The cessation of an undesirable object by realization or paths such as belief in self-existence, which is stopped by the path of seeing. So, when you stop having intellectual belief in self-existence because of your path of seeing emptiness directly, that causes a cessation of the suffering of believing things are self-existent. There's also a sensation that consists of the absence of self-existence, the sensation of emptiness itself, or the general non-existence of a self-existent thing, which is established by the reasonings of the middle way. If you understand the concept of emptiness and its friend on the other side of the coin, karma, then you can see that there is a way to end the suffering, and now you just have to get on with it. So, truth of the path to the end of suffering. The path of accumulation and preparation, which can be attained before seeing emptiness directly. So literally, the path of accumulation and preparation are goals to reach so that you can see emptiness directly. The paths of seeing, habituation, and no more learning, which are achieved by those who have seen emptiness directly. So there are paths, there are roadmaps, maybe guidelines to reach the end of suffering. And those are accumulation and preparation to get you to where you see emptiness directly. Then having seen emptiness directly, getting habituated to the fact that nothing is self-existent, never has been, never will be. And then you get to no more learning, which is achieved by those who've seen emptiness directly. Whoops. So anyone who wants out of the suffering life must understand and perceive these four-area truths and understand that they are our ticket out of samsara. Once we've had the direct perception of emptiness, we'll never be unhappy again. While we may have a lousy day, we're not unhappy because we know the how and the why and can do something about it. So a medium capacity person, motivated by a wish for personal freedom, acts to stop harming others and hence stop their own suffering eventually through the direct perception of emptiness. How does the greater capacity person differ? The bodhicitta in their hearts leads them to different kinds of activities as they try to stop others' suffering with as much attention or more so than to stopping their own suffering. Boy, I just don't understand. Well, the sixth perfection, tools to reach total enlightenment. When you become a bodhisattva, especially a bodhisattva with Mahayana bodhisattva, there are six perfections or tools to reach total enlightenment. There's a perfection of giving. This includes material things, protection, then the Dharma. I had a fourth and so kind of a fifth in there. Material things, protection, love and compassion in the Dharma. You give love by making people happy. You give compassion by removing people's suffering. It's important to know the difference between happiness and compassion. And I use this example all the time. But for me, it's particularly poignant because it's something that directly involves me. When my wife has a migraine headache, the last thing she wants to do is eat ice cream, even though that's what makes her happy in a normal day. So instead of giving her ice cream, I need to know that, and instead have compassion and find out what I can do to help her get rid of her headache. And sometimes that's just as simple as leaving her alone and not being upset that she wants to be alone. Moral discipline. These are the freedom vows, Bodhisattva and Tantric vows, the Vinaya, teaching us what we need to do to keep our karma going in a straight line and doing only positive things. Patience. Geshe calls this the perfection of not getting angry. Restraining self from getting angry in any situation. This is difficult. I find myself, after quite a while of not getting angry at myself, getting angry at myself again that I can't open jars. I have trouble opening Ziploc bags. I can't carry much in my hands because, especially if I try and take food to the table, it ends up almost spilling. I'm angry, more angry when I cook because I can't cut things the size I want. I have to be very careful about not cutting my hand. I mean, everybody as a cook is careful not to cut themselves, but I'm on anticoagulant medication, and it's difficult to stop me bleeding once I start bleeding. If it's a small cut, that's not a problem. But the definition of a small cut depends on how badly you bleed. So far, they haven't been bad. How many of you, if you're opening a box from Amazon and it's got tape, how many of you draw the scissors or knife towards you when you open a package? Be honest with yourself. I start doing that. I think about doing that and I stop and I say, Sumati, Boy Scouts, you don't draw the knife towards you because if it slips, it could cut you severely. But every time I get a package to open, I think about whether I should. This one time, I'll pull it toward me because I can control it. Joyous effort. Having a great time each day doing good deeds, doing your practice eagerly with emptiness and bodhicitta in mind. I approach each day with, in the morning, getting out of bed if I've had a decent night's sleep, which I'm having trouble sleeping, which is amazing. Some of my medication seems to be not working as well as in the past. But I get up every morning and think, today's the day I'm not going to have Parkinson's. I burned off Parkinson's. Then I find out that I haven't burnt it off, and I go, well, I've got to do extra special things today so I don't get it in the future. The alternative is to get up and say, oh, I got Parkinson's still. That's not fair. I wish I didn't have it. Well, I do wish I didn't have it, but I don't think the negative. I think the positive. Concentration. Shamatha, single-pointed concentration. The meditative concentration which is infused with the extraordinary bliss of practiced ease, brought on by the deep single-pointed concentration on the object. That's the long-winded definition of shamatha, which you need for your homework. The ability to concentrate single-pointedly on any object would be shamatha. When you're so practiced in meditation, you can just sit down, do the preliminaries, and tell your body to focus single-pointedly for an hour or so. You do it and you enjoy it. Find the time, take the time, get the right job so you can do this, because it is not an end unto itself. It is a tool. All these perfections are tools to reach total enlightenment. And the last perfection is wisdom, the direct perception of emptiness through using the perfection of concentration, which is hard work. Vipassana, the state of wisdom, which is infused with the pleasure of extreme agility brought on by analyzing its particular object of focus, all based on the platform of quietude. That's long-winded. Vipassana is using the tool of shamatha to focus on the concept of emptiness and reach first the realization of dependent origination, and then taking that and doing completing the meditation, which gets you to the direct perception of emptiness. Well, that's pretty much it for my presentation. I apologize for the errors. I went over this, I don't know how many times, but that's no excuse. I apologize. Okay, so now to the fun part. Mike isn't here, is he? No. Okay. Well, Mike's been. Solana, you sent these. Yeah. Okay. So Lydia, you understand? You have the answer for questions 3, 7, 11, 15, 19, and 23. Okay. And
Yes,
Katya,
yes.
you've got your assignment. Svetlana, you've got yours. If you can answer the question in your own words, that'd be extraordinary. It doesn't have to be the exact answer in the answer key. And take this as an opportunity to teach, take it as an opportunity to review. The final, since you know what's on the final, it shouldn't be quite as daunting as a final in college, but it still takes a pretty good effort. Now, we're going to start up course 10, which is the beginning of the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, which is an extraordinary 3-part teaching, 10, 11, and 12. Besides the source of all my good or the 3 principal paths, that's the most fun thing to teach. I'm really looking forward to it. So we're going to start that on November 6th. We'll take a day off, two days off for Geshe's teaching in Kyoto. And I'm going to go ahead and teach on Thanksgiving because we teach in the morning. We have Thanksgiving in the evening, afternoon. And most of my students, well, all of my students except Mike don't, well, I guess Katya doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving in the same sense. So, and then we take off the days that Geshe is teaching in Kyoto. And I believe we're done on the 21st or 22nd. So we're done right before Christmas. And then we'll take the month of January off because we're going to be in Mexico teaching in January. And so we're not going to try and teach in the mornings when we're in Mexico. We've got our tickets. You've got the venue fixed, reserved, right? So everything's in order. Oh, are you going to have an extra monitor for my computer? Can you arrange to have that?
Okay, yeah, I can do it.
Okay. If it's easier to get a projector, a digital projector, that we could do that too.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's dedicate a class. O Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, please listen to what I now say. Just as all the previous Sugatas generated the mind of enlightenment and practiced in accordance with Bodhisattva precepts, so shall I too, in order to benefit all that lives, give birth to bodhicitta and follow its precepts. May the merit of my life and my practice be for the benefit of all living beings. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. And may I have the karma to have such wonderful students attending my classes. I'm really proud of all of you. Your rejoicing practice has matured quite nicely during this particular course. And when we get through with the Bodhisattva's way of life, we'll all be glowing with ways to rejoice. Okay. So we'll see you Thursday. And that's that. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Спасибо. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, dear teacher. Bye.